we go. All right, so placing my hands on my heart, taking a deep breath of love and gratitude. So grateful to be the two or more who are gathered in the name and the nature of love. Grateful to be in this now moment, fully present and aware. Grateful for our willingness and our dedication, our devotion to remembering the truth of our being, which is unconditional love, pure innocence, joy, beauty, abundance, clarity, harmony, the all good. We are grateful for our mighty companions, our earthly and heavenly helpers. We ask that they join us now, surrounding and supporting all who are here, all who may listen later, blessing us all. We are grateful to receive their inspiration, their insights, their wisdom. We're grateful to be open-minded, open-hearted, great receivers. We are claiming the all good right here and right now. The kingdom of heaven is ours. And we are grateful to share the benefits of all that we receive and all that we are with Mother Earth and all her beings, because we are one. In grace and divine gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. So we are continuing, ending actually, chapter 11, God or the Ego. And, oh no, we're not ending it yet. Next time around. We're in section 8, the real world. And I'm actually going to start by reading paragraphs 2 and 3. What then is the world that awaits your perception when you see? Every loving thought that the Son of God ever had is eternal. Those which his mind perceived in this world are the world's only reality. They are perceptions because he still believes that he is separate, yet they are eternal because they are loving. And being loving, they are like the Father and therefore will not die. And then I'm going to go down to 39, where it says the past tense of perceived seems to imply that the real world consists of the loving thoughts that the Son of God perceived when he made the world. This idea is referred to later in the text, chapter 17, section 2. Not even what the Son of God made in insanity could be without a hidden spark of beauty that gentleness could release. And when we see this spark of beauty, the smallest leaf becomes a thing of wonder, and a blade of grass, a sign of God's perfection. I just wanted to melt when I read that. And then in paragraph 3, he says, the real world can actually be perceived. All that is necessary is a willingness to perceive nothing else. For if you perceive both good and evil, you are accepting both the false and the true, and making no distinction between them. The ego sees some good, but never only good. That is why its perception is so variable. It does not reject goodness entirely. For this you could not accept, but it always adds something that is not real to the real, thus confusing illusion and reality. For perception cannot be partly true. If you believe in truth and illusion, you cannot tell which is true. And between these two paragraphs, I just like the thought that came into my mind is, first of all, that idea of riding two horses and how that equals so much chaos in our mind, and in our body, in our perception, in our and everything. And one of the ways that helps me to perceive the real world is seeking beauty. And so when he talked down in 39 at the bottom, where he said, when we see this spark of beauty, the smallest leaf becomes a thing of wonder, and a blade of grass is a sign of God's perfection. To me, that's like, if ever I am in a space of turmoil or conflict, or just feeling challenged in whatever way, if I look to beautiful things, it helps me to come back into my right mind. Whether I'm looking at something in nature, I'm looking at art, I'm looking at dancing, I'm listening to music, all of these things can bring me back into my right mind so that I am more aligned with the truth of my being. So, yeah, so that's where I'm starting us. Does anybody else have anything to share about that? Oh, there she is.
Well, I guess I'll share. Sorry, I'm in my kitchen or my dining room.
Okay.
And my cameras, maybe oh, that's better. Um, this was a really powerful, and I love all the sections you read, Linda. I think um, the whole chapter was just great and very timely for me this week because I don't know, I shared last week too. I had a day on Monday and I had yeah, Mondays seem to be like, I don't know what's going on the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think there's some weird astrology, but I know that it's like I know things are coming up. They're coming up for healing for me. And so I'll respond to what you said and then I'll read. So when you said that's the phrase that's been going on in my mind, so when you said riding two horses, um uh, are you familiar with the Sweet Home Alabama movie? And maybe I've shared
Yes.
this here before. So that phrase all week, like for the last week, has been in my head of where she's at the wedding and he says, "Can't ride two horses with one ass, sugar pea." And she's like debating whether to sign the papers or whatever when she's supposed to be marrying the other guy. Um, and that has just come back forth to my mind all week. So it's funny you said that, Linda, because that's what I've been struggling with is a decision with my career that I've made recently. And I made it to do this thing. And then my ego mind is just bringing up a lot of old things for me, a lot of old issues. And the same thing happened for me when I decided to stay home with my kids. I made the decision intentionally to do that. I wanted to be home to raise them, just especially with the situation we had going on in our family. And then for years, I internally berated myself for that decision. I made myself feel shitty all the time. As my friends were progressing in their careers, I would belittle myself in my head all day long. Look at you, Danny. You're just changing diapers. This is all you're doing. You're doing carpool drop off. You're cleaning up spit up. This is what you went to school for 15 years for. I mean, I would do that to myself all day long. And so, same pattern is coming back. And I've been really intentional to heal that recently, and have come a long way with that. And then it's this, Jennifer calls it that. She calls extinction burst. I feel like that's what I'm
Yeah.
experiencing because this hasn't been an issue for me in like years. I've really, especially since my dad died, and I've been diving into my spiritual practice lately, um, or with the course the last few years. I've really worked to heal that. And in the last 2 weeks, it's like come back with a vengeance over this other decision that I made around my career. And so this passage, and so that phrase from that movie keeps going on in my head of like, you're doing this again to yourself, Danny. You made a decision And my ego mind wants to say it doesn't make sense. Why are you doing this? But this is where I feel led. This is what I feel. And so it's like a faith thing too, right? Um, and so this whole chapter was like because I had it was so perfect. I had a conversation with my mom yesterday. I was like, I just need prayer, mom. Like I'm like doing this mental battle. I know I'm in this mental battle space. Yesterday I was like in that. Today I'm fine, but yesterday I was in this like, where you get your stuff comes back up and you're in it in your head and you don't want to be in it. Like I kept saying, I don't want to feel this way. I give this over to you, but you're just like it's like you're in your head with it. Um Today I'm fine. Today I'm like in my right mind again. But yesterday I was in it and I can step back and know that I'm in it. Like, and that's progress, I think, too. And then you get out of it in a way. Because for years I didn't even see what I was doing and just did it. And so my mom yesterday like prayed for me and then gave me one of her mom lectures that she like in a good way, like gave me a talking to that I needed to hear, remind me of exactly this chapter. And I read this chapter last night. So I didn't even hadn't read it, but she was like, Dana, God's ways are not the world's ways. It's completely backwards. She was giving me the whole thing of the two worlds, right? And I
Yeah.
know it, but I sometimes you need to hear your mama say it to you, or you need somebody to say it to you. And for me, it's usually my mom. And so I'll read the first paragraph. I felt like that was just really powerful. The world as you perceive it cannot have been created by the Father, for the world is not as you perceive it. God created only the eternal, and everything you see is perishable. Therefore, there must be another world which you do not see. The Bible speaks of a new heaven and a new earth, yet this cannot be literally true, for the eternal are not recreated. But to perceive anew is merely to perceive again and implies that before you were not perceiving at all. And so for me, it was just that. And you can know it in your head, but sometimes you're in the grip of the emotion of it. Um, like I'm not seeing this correctly. I know I'm not, and I'm feeling the thing, but it is that idea that like it is a reversal of God's ways, and the real world is a complete reversal of this world of form that we live in. And everything is literally like backwards. Like, Jennifer, I think recently had a post about that too, about we do all this work in the world of, we try to do all this work in the world of forms to make things happen, but working in the invisible is so much more powerful. And
Yeah.
that's the real world. And so I just thought this whole chapter was so good. And then three was also, you read three. I thought that was great. And talking about all that's necessary is your willingness to perceive nothing else. I mean, that's
Hmm.
that's like dedication. And I was texting with my brother about this as well. And because it involves him, I'm working with him now. Uh and the phrase from the course that came to me is we are far you're far too tolerant of mind wandering.
Yeah.
And so it is this, like, again in three, it's saying that all that is necessary is a willingness to perceive nothing else, as if that's so easy, right? We to see nothing else besides the real world, besides that which God created, which is what we can't always even perceive, right? But we
Mhm.
can we can see it. It is possible to see it if we have a willingness to see it. And Carla always does that quote, and I won't get it, and she can say it when she speaks, but about, when you don't see what you when you don't see what you do, like that whole quote.
Yes.
I get it turned around in my head, but I know the essence of what it's saying. And that's exactly also what this chapter is talking about, of perceiving what is real, what is true, what is eternal, what is of God, and knowing that everything else is an illusion. And it is like, it's like sometimes, I mean, you need to be reminded daily, hourly, minutely, like by the minute sometimes. And yesterday was one of those days. And today I feel like in my right mind again about it all. And just it's about trust. It's about trust that you are not perceiving what is real, and trust that
Mhm.
God knows, and to see nothing else. And to believe also that all things are for my good, nothing is against me. It's like these truths, they are so not absolute, but they're so like resolute, like they're so like all or nothing. It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't say some things are for my good. It's literally
Everything.
everything is for my good. And so the course is like real, like it's just boom, this is how it is. All that you need, all that you need is the willing to see nothing else. And then it talks about that for perceptions cannot be partly true. If you believe in truth and illusion, you cannot tell. So it is this like you are all in or not in at all. And I'm feeling that a bit right now with this thing. But um I can see where I am and I know what it is. And Jennifer's blog today was very helpful about being a happy learner. And I was like,
Yeah.
God, I want to be a happy learner. I know you're trying to like do a new thing here for me and break old patterns and break old ways. And I don't want to live that way or be that way in my own head again. And so, yeah, so I'm trying to be the happy learner and recognize that when these things come up, they're coming up for healing. They're coming up to be done. And but I do feel like I'm in a bit of an extinction burst lately with this particular issue for me, which goes back to just I'm really, really hard on myself, not as hard on anybody else, but I'm really critical of myself and have very high, sometimes unrealistic expectations of myself, and then beat myself up for that. So for not meeting those. And so again, all those things and that's what I made. That's not what I even created or what God created. That's my thing. Um anyway, I'll stop there. I'm probably gonna have to jump at like 12:30 or 12:40. So
Okay.
if I leave, don't just know that that's just my schedule today. So, but thank you
Right.
for letting me share.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Dana. I can so relate to all of that. And there's a part of my personality that continuously bullies me and has that fear of missing out no matter what decision I make. So I can so relate to that. So I'm just hugging that part of you and just knowing that yeah, she is everything's for her good. Thank you. Go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, I'm going to respond to you, Dana. We're all here just practicing. Everything, everything that happens is taken by ego as fodder. As fodder. So I'm going to read a poem, I wrote a long time ago. I didn't understand it, but I still don't. But it's okay. I don't need to understand, right? Just listen. So it's called To Live. I am dying, and it is so painful. Do you feel my agony? I know you do. Why do you want me dead? I protected you when you needed me. Can you not do the same for me? I understand. You do not need me. Maybe not the way I am. But there are parts of me you may use. Take what you want, and I will keep the pain. So clasp me tightly, hold me tenderly, and love me for what I was, and let me die. For I love you and want you to live. So there's something else I put up when I was feeling free. My phone jumps sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Christ is God's son as he created him. He is the self we share. And that's the thing that all thoughts are shared. So thoughts will come into your mind, right? So that they're not something to feel bad about yourself. It just is. Life is that which passes through you. It is not you. I don't know. He's the self we share, uniting us with one another and with God as well. He is a thought which still abides within the mind that is his source. He has not left his holy home, nor lost the innocence in which he was created. He abides unchanged forever in the mind of God. And what is that? It's the soul. It's we call it whatever you want to call it, higher self, the God self, the intuition. Things come and things go. And what I was going to read, let's see if I can find it. It's called It's Right and Wrong, Not Right and Left. When did it first start? Maybe, just maybe it started a long time ago with Cain and Abel. Maybe. The mind says, what can I ever do? I cannot stop it. The hate, the killing, the meanness, man's inhumanity to man. It has been going on a long time. What can I do to stop it? Because everyone, all souls have free will. Maybe we can't change the past or another's choices, but right here, right now, I can do something. In 10 minutes now will be the past, a past we can change by choosing kindness right now. We have power. We have the power to decide the future by what we choose. Choose kindness. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. So do something. Choose kindness. That's the thing. I mean, it seems like so many times in my life things happen and I didn't choose kind. I was really guided by the fear that I felt because I believed everything I felt. But everything you feel is not true if it's not love or loving. It doesn't always appear loving. But the truth is within you. We're all here practicing how to choose truth. So be grateful when you have those challenges because you're learning how to choose truth, and ego will speak up and try to prove the untruth. No, I mean, I think people are caught in that believing they know. I think somebody, Einstein said something I just saw. Let's see if I can find it real quickly. No, not there. The important thing is to not stop questioning curiosity, because curiosity has its own reasons for existing. For practicing, it's not about just praying for others and sending love. It's being kind to yourself. Whatever appears to be happening, however you feel, whatever challenge is flowing through you at the moment or whatever, And when you can, no, it was so hard for me. And it is sometimes, it's like I still get caught up in believing ego and forget who I truly am. But even ego was given to us for a purpose. Even it, I haven't been able to do this fully yet. But I think this is my challenge to love ego, even when it seems so unloving and you feel so unloving in your body. You feel it. Choose kindness. I guess I shared two poems out. I'll just skip what I was going to share about.
Thanks, Carla. Yeah. You know, everything that we've been talking about brought to mind something that happened, well, over the weekend and then yesterday. The last time I checked Facebook before I went to bed on Saturday evening, I think it was, I noticed one of my friends posted that there were ICE agents that were spotted in my town about 30 minutes from me. And so that kind of unsettled me, and I couldn't seem to get it out of my head for a while. And so I fell asleep late and a little bit fitful. And I woke up around 2:30 or so, and I had this nightmare that Rudy was supposed to be coming home from dialysis and he was late. And so I went to look for him and noticed that he was being detained by an ICE agent. And I was trying really hard to explain to the guy that, you know, he was very sick, that he was just on his way home from dialysis, that, you know, he was born in California. He's a US citizen, that we've been in this area since 1986, that he worked at a local company for 36 years, and nothing I said seemed to make a difference to what that man was doing. And then I woke up from that, and it took a long time for me to get back to sleep. It was hours. And so I posted about it the next day because it made me remember some of the things that he had gone through due to prejudices. Since he was Mexican descent, he was a brown man, and I remembered right after 9/11, he had to travel to Texas for work, and he got strip searched both going there and coming home. That had to be humiliating. And the only reason why he would have been pulled aside is because he was a brown guy. And another time when he was, younger, and he was working at a bank that no longer exists in California. And he worked third shift in their computer room, and he was running late. He was a young dude in his early 20s. We don't have all of our marbles at that time yet. And he had forgotten his pass key and his badge with his name and everything on it. And there was a new security guard at the gate, and he wouldn't let him in. And Rudy was trying to get him to call his boss so he could confirm that he was supposed to be there. And the guy pulled a gun on him. And so he left, and he drove across the street and called his boss from a convenience store phone booth. This was before cell phones. And so his boss called the security guard at, like 2 a.m. in the morning, and told him, and then the guy let him in. But those were just like two examples of where prejudice can choose fear over love. And so I had written about that in a Facebook post, and just said, I'm so glad that he is not having to experience that right now, because it would probably be a little bit terrifying if there were those agents. And here he is, this brown man, having to drive back and forth 3 times a week to go to dialysis. And wondering if he was going to run into somebody that was going to pull him over because of the color of his skin. And so I really was just making the point about how our prejudices, no matter what they are not loving. And somebody that I have no idea who they are, I'm not friends with them on Facebook. I don't even know how they saw my post, made some comment about, come back into the real world where, this shit isn't happening in dreams. In real life, there are people that are here that are killing us. And I'm like, okay, so this is probably a troll. I did go to her Facebook page, and I didn't see anything personal written on her page. The only thing I saw on her page were reposts from Fox News. And so I knew where she was coming from, this place of fear. And so I just felt like, I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to, it doesn't deserve a response. And a friend of mine actually responded to her, like, can you show me proof of where this is happening? Because I keep hearing this, but I'm not seeing any proof of this. And it really does feel like the riding 2 horses thing. Like, where's the real world? Where is the real world in this? And so I felt like, there was growth. I could recognize that I had growth because in the past, instead of just being curious and looking up this person and just to see where they were coming from, I probably would have like private messaged them and given them a whole spiel about, if you're going to troll me and say things on my post, the least you could do is read the entire thing and realize that my husband is dead. And, like, you're trolling a widow. What kind of kicks are you getting out of that kind of thing? And I just felt like there is nothing that I could say that would change her mind about the way that she feels. And the most loving thing that I could do is just let her be. And, if she ever feels the call to come back and read the entire post that showed some real life things that happened, she might realize that it was just coming from a place of grief and love. So, yeah, it felt like growth, and it felt like I was choosing the real world in that moment. The real world is that there is only love, and that was just a cry for love from both of us. And yeah, like at the end of 6, he says, "For as heaven and earth become one, even the real world will vanish from your sight. The end of the world is not its destruction, but its translation into heaven. The reinterpretation of the world is the transfer of all perception to knowledge, where we just know the love of God because that's all there is." And to me, that's exactly what the disappearance of the universe is, that Gary Renard was talking about in his book. It's just gloriously joyful. And so I look forward to the disappearance of the universe, and I look forward to continuing to choose love over the ego wanting to justify my righteousness. Yeah. Anybody have anything else that they would like to share?
Oh, well.
Okay.
It's very challenging, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, because I'll say the saying that Dana said, when you believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, you won't see what you do see, and you will see what you don't see. So I think the soul of your husband knew that this stuff was going to happen and came into this world knowing that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really challenging. I mean, even the soul, I mean, I guess, should I not say names? Souls of Hitler, or, I mean, I don't want to equate it with Hitler with Trump, but, or anybody, they knew that they come into this life knowing that they could possibly do that stuff. So I have a lot of, I don't know if it's respect, but it's very challenging to trust that God has it. It seems like things are happening like you never thought this sort of stuff would ever happen to America.
Yeah.
Innocent people getting killed, and the president defending that. Oh my gosh. I'm like, it's so, but the thing is, what I'm trying to do is to use everything. I mean, look, we were created by God, and God knew that all this shit was going to happen when He created it. What did He say? it is good. So this all has, even though it feels something, which is ego, the soul, the I am that was one with God, right? Does it feel not the same way the body feels? Because it trusts God, knows truth. And so what we're doing is we're here to experience the challenging, to choose truth. And thank you, in a way. Thank you, Trump, for giving me this opportunity to, it seems so challenging sometimes to choose when I'm speaking. And I sometimes don't. But thank you for this challenge. It is a blessing. Everything is a blessing. So how can this not be a blessing too? And that's, I don't think it was here, but every morning I woke up because there's a Trump supporter that plays this stuff every day. Every day. I'm getting this opportunity to see that this too is a blessing. Maybe I can't change her. I don't want to speak and try to, is attacking someone's beliefs, is that loving? I guess I'm guided to do it in a loving way. Did you know, I just learned that as kind of a side, that Republicans and Democrats used to be one? You know that? That was a long time ago. And also in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, they swapped. So they swapped. I mean, I found this out and I was like, wow. How much do we not know? Do we not know of everything that's happening? We think we know because we see the piece, one piece of the puzzle, and we go, we know what that piece is, but we don't know where it fits in the whole puzzle. And so this is where everything starts from willingness. Everything. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to remember who I truly am. Sometimes even my words don't affirm that, but I'm willing. I'm willing to even allow myself all my seeming failures. Because how can I learn? If I was always in love and always love, how would you learn from that? So it's the challenge, it's the strife, whatever you want to call it. It's where you learn. And so I'm willing to be there because I chose to come in this body, and possibly I chose the ataxia. Well, I definitely did from thinking. We create everything we see, right? So I'll stop there. So thank you. I'm kind of glad that you're the only one here, but I guess you're going to post the recording. But okay. Okay.
Thanks, Carla. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing when you realize that every single thing that you're going through is something that you chose. Yeah. Gently planned by one whose only interest is your good. And I like to remember that, and Jennifer says often that the number one characteristic of God's teachers isn't perfection, it's trust. And so it also brings to mind the Buddha said that life is suffering. And there's all those monks that are walking across the United States right now. And they don't do that just for fun. They do that to spread peace and love in places where there is turmoil. And so I just, I feel like there are so many places where we can see the real world if we're willing to look at it and with fully open eyes and recognize that we are one, no matter what Super Bowl halftime show you watched or none at all, that we are one, and that even people that are making comments about not having an American do the halftime show when Bad Bunny is an American, Puerto Rico is an American territory. Seeing that he has to wear a bulletproof vest when he's performing here because he's had death threats against him and his family. Just also a cry for love. So yeah, just being willing to see that all of this stuff, my own fears, what Dana was talking about earlier with, her challenges with the bully in her head, like all of that stuff is coming up for our healing. It's all coming to the surface to be dealt with once and for all. And yeah, and the characteristic of God's teachers isn't perfection, it's trust. So,
but what is suffering? We think we know what suffering is, right? But everything is love. So suffering is some form of love.
yeah, it's a cry for love. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to share before
I'll
we?
read the first sentence. The
Okay.
world as you perceive it cannot have been created by the Father, for the world is not as you perceive it. God created only the eternal, and everything you see is perishable. Therefore, there must be another world which you do not see. I guess back to that statement again. When I believe more in what I don't see, I think that's the world's challenge. Everybody's believing what they see and what they hear. I mean, people aren't what they say. They're not even what they do, but that gives you a more accurate, I guess, I don't know, perception of what they believe, what they or choosing, you know, and to choose love. I mean, it goes back to, I can't think of the guy's name now, that was in a concentration camp when Hitler was doing what he's doing, and he was like, and he realized that everything can be taken away, but perception. I guess that's not the exact word, but, and he chose to see everything with kindness. That's the poem. I choose kindness.
Yeah, hopefully we will remember these things and choose love always. In the meantime, we're choosing a cry for love, and that's still part of love. Yeah. Thank you, Carla. So for next week, we will complete chapter 11, doing section 9, asking for God's answer. And I'm going to read our lesson for today, excuse me, which is lesson 41. God goes with me wherever I go. Today's idea will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment all the separated ones experience. Depression is an inevitable consequence of separation. So are anxiety, worry, a deep sense of helplessness, misery, suffering, and intense fear of loss. The separated ones have invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. But the one thing they do not do is to question the reality of the problem. Yet its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. The idea for today has the power to end all this foolishness forever. And foolishness it is, despite the serious and tragic forms it may take. Deep within you is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through you and out into the world. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss, because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of its allegiance to them. You can never be deprived of your perfect holiness, because its source goes with you wherever you go. You can never suffer because the source of all joy goes with you wherever you go. You can never be alone because the source of all of life goes with you wherever you go. Nothing can destroy your peace of mind because God goes with you wherever you go. We understand that you do not believe all this. How could you, when the truth is hidden deep within, under a heavy cloud of insane thoughts, dense and obscuring, yet representing all you see? Today, we will make our first real attempt to get past this dark and heavy cloud and go through it to the light beyond. There will be only one long practice period today, in the morning, as soon as you get up, if possible. Sit quietly for some 3 to 5 minutes with your eyes closed. At the beginning of the practice period, repeat today's idea very slowly. Then make no effort to think of anything. Try instead to get a sense of turning inward past all the idle thoughts of the world. Try to enter very deeply into your own mind, keeping it clear of any thoughts that might divert your attention. From time to time, you may repeat the idea if you find it helpful. But most of all, try to sink down inward, away from the world and all the foolish thoughts of the world. You are trying to reach past all these things. You are trying to leave appearances and approach reality. It is quite impossible. It is quite possible, to reach God. In fact, it is very easy because it is the most natural thing in the world. You might even say it is the only natural thing in the world. The way will open if you believe that it is possible. This exercise can bring very startling results, even the first time it is attempted, and sooner or later, it is always successful. We will go into more detail about this kind of practice as we go along, but it will never fail completely, and instant success is possible. Throughout the day, use today's idea often, repeating it very slowly, preferably with eyes closed. Think of what you are saying, what the words mean. Concentrate on the holiness that they imply about you, on the unfailing companionship that is yours, on the complete protection that surrounds you. You can indeed afford to laugh at fear thoughts, remembering that God goes with you wherever you go. Amen to that.
What did you just read, Linda?
I just read the lesson for today.
From this book?
No, from the FIP version, the blue book. Lesson.
So something says exact same thing I put in my poem, and I'd never read that.
That's so funny.
Interesting.
That's the one mine, Carla.
Yeah. All right. Thank
All
you.
right. See you next week, honey.
All right.
Love you. Bye.